Welcome back to Market It with Atma, where we share the tips, tools, and strategies to help your business be successful. Today, we have on the show Miss Nakia Fleming. She is the owner and founder of Wildflower Lifestyle Coaching, and I'll let her tell you more about her journey. Welcome, Nakia.
Thank you for having me.
So we talked kind of before the podcast. Can you tell our audience in your own words how long you've been in business and what your business is? Because you have an interesting story behind it, and I'd love for them to hear kind of how long you've been doing this and what makes you so credible as a coach.
Okay, thank you. So I have been formerly a lifestyle and wellness coach for 2 years.
Okay.
I am a nurse by trade. I've been a nurse for the last 20 years, and I founded Wildflower Lifestyle Coaching because I wanted to help women away from the bedside. So I encounter women every day, but then I wanted a way to be able to help them that wasn't at the bedside.
Yeah.
So that was the mission behind Wildflower Lifestyle Coaching. I really wanted to be of service to people, kind of the same way I needed service when I was going through a life transition. So that's how we got started.
So the inspiration came from your nursing physician, and to want to help more than what a nurse does is amazing. But when I first talked to you, I thought it was more recovery after like they had a surgery or something. But no, this is a whole entire coaching to help them with their journey through life after.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful.
So, yes.
So can you tell us one of the experiences you've had doing this that you've really enjoyed or that has kind of stuck with you?
I feel like I've worked with a lot of empty nesters. I've worked with some women who are going through lifestyle changes or relationship changes, but definitely my empty nesters. I think I can resonate with them exactly. We're about in the same time frame. But I think you spend a lot of time, women do, taking care of other people, and then you find yourself, the people are cared for, and then who are you? What do I like? What brings me joy? And so it's a new sense of self-discovery, and it can be a very lonely journey. And so I really like to empower women to get curious about what is available to them, to try new things, to be okay with the change that's coming. Change is hard either way. And so I also want to just be of support and just give them a community while they're going through a change.
It's amazing and admirable of you. Can you give us a little bit of background behind the name specifically?
Wildflower Lifestyle Coaching. So when I was looking for a name, wildflowers just kept coming up for me. I saw it in a friend's post. She started a homeschool for her children, and she called them wildflowers. And it popped up on a billboard when my husband and I were driving. So I immediately Googled what is the religious component of wildflowers? What is the semblance of wildflowers? And really it came down to being able to bloom anywhere. And they come up in the most desolate places. If you're driving in Texas, of course, in the spring, you do see wildflowers just in the middle of a ditch somewhere. And so the ability to be able to spring something beautiful in a weird place, in a lonely place, in a desolate place. And as the definition it stuck. I'm definitely a wildflower. I kind of march to my own drum. I always have. And so I really want to encourage people to just kind of be wild and free. Be curious about stepping outside of the traditional boxes or being able to bloom when you're having a tough season. So
absolutely. And we say you should do this and you should take care of yourself, but how do you go about it? I've struggled with the same thing in different seasons. Everyone has different seasons of life. And it's difficult deciding who you should get advice from, right?
Exactly.
So would you say, what are the typical routes that people go to that you've heard of, if any, to get this advice? And what do you provide that they can't find anywhere else?
So a lot of times people will go to the internet. They'll watch other people who walk through a journey. They will maybe sometimes reach out to friends, but a lot of times I think you end up you can share your story on the back end. And so you've walked through this season very alone, very unaware, and kind of figuring it out on your own, versus if you had a coach and you had some support, it's not such a lonely transition. It helps to change your perspective. You're able to hone your values. You're able to have a plan, build some new habits to be able to help that growth. I think I offer a space of anchor and really a starting point for where you can go from, so that you're not so just kind of spinning out all by yourself.
Yeah, a wildflower that got disconnected and floating through the wind. So how do you do that? What approach do you take, and what can your not listeners, because you're not, but what can your clients expect from you? It's a very sensitive subject for a lot of women because we're taught to just deal with it and keep moving. So how do you get women to open and be secure about their insecurities?
So that is very true. We're taught to just kind of muster through. You don't really share your struggles. You don't share that you're having a hard time. You put on a good game face. And so what I do is I make sure that whatever we're doing is specific to my client. So for me, for you, it couldn't be something that worked for someone else. So say you were starting a health journey or you wanted to start a new workout regimen. If you aren't a runner and running doesn't interest you, we're not going to discuss a new plan of how to fit running into your life. We are going to talk about what brings you joy. What are your core values? What's important to you? What does your schedule look like? What do your finances look like? How does this work for your family? And really getting to the root of it. If you know a why, a lot of times that is the starting point. Like, why do you want to make this change? Why is this important to you? And then a lot of times we don't realize how one thing is tied into the next. So it's all encompassing. So you may start, say somebody comes to me and says, I want to start a new health journey and I really would like to have a workout plan. Well, as you're talking about your workout plan, you recognize, wow, I'm spending a lot of time at work and not a lot of time with my family. So that needs to be reevaluated. Or I am wasting money over here. How can I make my financial resources work for me? Instead of using them for something that you don't care about, let's move them into a category that you do. So if you're paying for lessons for something that you're not enjoying, let's pay for a gym membership that you are, or a class that you would love to take. Let's make sure that what is important to you shows up for you.
So you meet them where they're at.
Absolutely.
And that, to me, is what separates you from going to your doctor and getting a checkup, or going to a holistic store to buy a bunch of supplements. You're customizing each and every contact you have with your clients and really putting them on a journey that works best for them. It's not daunting in my eyes.
Yes, and it becomes a lifestyle. So it is an anchoring set of habits. We're going to go through different seasons. And there's a season that maybe saving works very well for you. Or there's a season where you're in a debt payoff journey. That doesn't last forever. You get to the other side of that, and now what do? You may be in a season where you would like to go back to school, but you have littles. How do we start working today towards your ability to be able to go back to school when that next season changes? What can we do in the meantime? Can we save some funds for when your children do go to school so that you can go to school? What does that look like for you? What's attainable? What's on the other side of it? A lot of times it's perspective. It's curiosity of what's out there, and to know that you have support to make those changes.
It's kind of like finding a best friend that will always tell you the truth and hold your hand and say, I'll do it with you, right? And that's powerful. I think I mentioned to you on our meeting before this that I didn't know I needed this, right? And if you look at yourself, women, I think especially, and this is my opinion, to your point, they don't take care of themselves until somebody that cares about them says, hey, you're losing too much weight, you're gaining too much weight, have you eaten in 2 days? Have you?
Right.
So the non-judgment perception you bring with strategic outcomes is less daunting, would you say?
I
for your
think so.
clients?
Yes. I think it isn't cookie cutter, and it's not about looking a certain way. It's what's important to you. And again, like to your point, we don't take care of ourselves until we're forced to. So now you're forced in a situation where you feel like, I want some help in this. Let's see how we can make some other areas great. So say that you're very career driven and you're doing well in your career. However, your personal life may be suffering. How do we move some of the tactics that you've used to become successful in your career into building better relationships? How do we move the discipline that you have to show up for work 100% every day into showing up for yourself 100% of the day?
Wow.
So what does that look like? And I don't ever believe in balance. That's a concept that I don't really subscribe to. I kind of subscribe to the idea of harmony. So there's always going to be something that gets a little more of you and something that gets a little less of you. So you don't have a complete balance. However, you want to make sure that you're touching all of those parts. Even if it's not getting your main attention, you want to make sure that you're still keeping a finger on it, that you're still anchored to the habits that keep you strong in that area, and that when it's time to freshen that area up, you can come right back to it.
Wow. And you help them take actionable steps in each one of those after you
very
establish.
Consistently.
Wow. It's profound what you could find out just meeting with you for a short period of time. So here at Advent Trinity, our audience wants to hear from business owners, right? You've been in an industry for 20 years taking care of people. So I consider that the longevity of this company. So what was it like for you to transition from full-time as a nurse, very structured, to starting your own business? Are there any specific hurdles you had to overcome to be where you are now?
Yes. I think for me, I got to show up and my patients were waiting for me and I got to take care of them, and then I went home. Well, now I have to search for my client. I have to build a like, know, and trust. Where I could build that in a 5-minute, 15-minute rapport at work, now I have to do that in my business. And I think setting up my own structure, like I knew what time I had to be at work and what time my lunch break was and what time to be home. Working for yourself, you do have to be disciplined. I had to create a new set of discipline for me to be able to get work done at home. I had to structure my work hours. I'm like, wait, I have 2 hours to do nothing, but I actually should be productive in these 2 hours. So I think building a structure that really worked for the lifestyle that I wanted to create was a curve for me.
To your point, for anyone, and if you're building a brick and mortar or working from home, that's a good point. Is in a customer journey and your own journey, you have to have steps you take, right? And you can get lost in the middle of it. So what would you say has been pivotal in you continuing your business? You're continuing to do what you do. Did you make the right decision going out on your own?
I think that I've made the right decision. I'm still working as a nurse, so I still am doing that full time. But I feel like because I wanted to start my business, the whole reason behind it is emotion driven. I really believe that my services are valuable to other women. I want to continue to be helpful, and so I want to continue to build that. I think that it's important. And so I've learned a lot from a lot of different business owners, various different structures and entities, and what works and what doesn't. Marketing is huge.
So how do you do the marketing portion of this? That was my next question anyway, so you just led that one.
Marketing is a degree in its own. It is a set of business skills that it's very different. It's very different from coaching. It's very different from nursing. And so I always want to show up as my authentic self. So how you get me on a live is how you're going to get me when we're coaching, and how you see me out with my family is how you're probably going to receive me as well.
Right.
And I want that to come across. I want my brand to always stand for who I am, and I don't have to code switch or be anyone different when you see me in business areas or in person. I love to do in-person marketing. I'm a conversationalist by nature, so I like to talk to people. And so that makes it easy for me. Majority of my clients are virtual, so I can talk for a very long time. And so making those connections are important to me.
So it sounds like what you're saying is when you have your in-person networking events and you're actually going out and outreaching in person, you're able to create small connections quickly. Yes. And then pivot to online because you've already made that trust connection.
Yes, I feel like that's been helpful for me.
Yeah. Do you feel like every business owner should take that path, or is that something specific to you that you know works?
I think that's something specific to me that I know works. I think you should market and establish relationships in a way that's best for you. So if you have a business owner that really prefers to be behind the scenes, then maybe you could have someone else do your front facing.
Delegating.
Yes, you can delegate some of that. I would really hate for anybody to walk into a business networking event like completely. There's introverts, right? Like,
absolutely.
I don't like, if that's not something that you love, then maybe you need to figure out another way to be able to market.
It sounds like what you're saying, I mean, what you do and how you're structuring your business kind of overlap. You can't know what you need until you acknowledge what you need and start establishing that. Because business is like life. I mean, if you're not going to have a plan, it's probably not going to go as you like it to, right? Yes. Would you say? So what you're doing on the financial side of it, you mentioned, like, do we need to get your finances straight? Do you provide financial advice and like who they should or shouldn't invest with, things like that? I'm just trying to give them a little perspective.
I don't do investment advice. However, I do talk about basic budgeting. I have some people that I definitely rely on and some financial advisors that I have added to my networking, to my referral partners. And so I will send you to a finance provider if that's something that they need. But if it's something as simple as starting a new budget, I've done that. And again, I will give them resources to be able to do that, to get further in debt, but beyond me. But having the conversation, finances is a touchy one. I feel like the important areas of your life that need to be honed or really need to have the attention are very personal, and some are more tender than others.
Absolutely.
So finances is not something that people are ever happy to talk about in mixed company. So that's one that people kind of stumble upon. My clients I haven't had anyone who come to me. I don't advertise as a financial advisor, so they don't come to me for that. But then as we're doing our coaching and going through things, they're like, oh, I should probably adjust this, or I could probably work on this. And it just happens very naturally that you start to work on your finances.
Nice.
But I definitely have some financial planners that I will refer people to, and some budgeting gurus that I really enjoy that helped me and my family.
You know, that's great to know, because going to somebody and asking what you should or shouldn't do and implementing that is great, but you may have to go to somebody else. You may not vibe with that other person the same way, but knowing that you've vetted these people and you trust these people is another point, I think, that separates you from the others out here trying to help with any kind of coaching, right?
Yes.
Is you vetted them. I'm not going to be sent to somebody you don't know and hope and pray for the best.
Yes.
That makes me feel better. And I wanted to say that out loud, because so many people, I think, are afraid to ask.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And so I really wanted it to be made clear that the personal touch you give is really valuable.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Tell us about your most recent program that you're running right now. What's it entail? What are you doing?
So right now, I just launched a program called Rooted in 6, and it is my signature program that I'm super excited about.
Okay.
It's the core of my coaching mission. It is the 6 areas of life that really need to be touched on in order for you to have a very joyful, well-rounded, and harmonious life.
Okay.
So I talk about the 6 roots, which are faith, family, finances, fitness, future, and your friendship. And I feel like these are areas that can fall by the wayside, but they're also the the areas that really make you who you are.
Mm-hmm.
So there's your personal relationships, your financial relationships, your health relationships. And it's based on the F alliteration of my last name with my clients. So fitness is health. It was not the one that I wanted. It wasn't the alliteration that I wanted, but it's what worked. I really wanted more about health because I think it is well-rounded. It needs to be more than just diet and exercise.
Yes.
It is about follow-up visits. It's about preventative care. It's about chiropractic visits, if that's something you choose. So it's about meditation and deep breathing. So in those areas, we talk about, that's my wellness part. That is the body part of it. And so in these routes, we talk about how you establish your core value in each of these routes. We set 3 monthly goals in each of these, and you spend time filling them into your schedule and filling them into your future plans so that you have anchors, and that when life gets twisty turny, you can come back to your roots and continue.
Kind of like your floor plan, right?
Yes.
Let's go back to the beginning and check these boxes off again.
Let's go back to the roots. Let's start at the beginning. Like my season is wild over here, and I really haven't hung out with my friends because I've been in the gym and I've really been on this health journey, and I stopped going out and I stopped drinking, but I would like to hang out with my friends. How do I build those? How do I keep those relationships important to me? How do I keep them healthy? How do I fit them into my busy schedule? I have littles, or I maybe come in an empty nester, and now I want to establish a change in my finances. What does that look like? So,
wow. So you said 3 months, a check-in every.
We do 3 goals every month.
Okay.
And so then that you can check in. And so you can, some of those goals, so say your goal for finances was to be able to save $200 for the month.
Yeah.
And so that can be a continual goal, or that can be until you get to a specific number. So then every month you're working towards this finance goal while you're still doing the other 5 areas of your life that are important.
And you simplify that because it sounds daunting, but
It does.
that's your part in it, is to make it not daunting. So for the Rooted in 6 program, they will have your availability for that 3 months.
So it's an 8-week program.
Okay, that's what I wanted to
And then
ask.
we do check back in to see how you're going. And I'm available for you to be able to say, like, hey, I'm having trouble here. But it really is about building a core structure for you to be able to come back to. And you get to change your goals. And if 3 goals a month is too much in all of these areas, you're going to set 1 goal a month. But you're going to touch each of these 6 places in your life every month so that you can feel whole.
Wow, and you're kind of there to hold them accountable, make them feel accountable at least,
Yes.
right? So, and you don't only offer programs, you're also giving free consultations for first-time visitors so they can understand a little bit better. If you don't understand after this podcast, let me know. I didn't do my job. But when and where can they register to meet with you for their free consult so they can see if this is the right fit for them?
Yes. So I have a website. It's Wildflower Lifestyle Coaching, and you can go on there and you can schedule. Right now, I'm offering a free 30-minute consult. It's a seasonal life audit where we can talk about what season you're in, and then you could decide whether or not coaching is for you in this season, or to know what's offered for you later. I also offer a coffee chat. I love a 30-minute coffee chat. And that doesn't necessarily have to lead to coaching. It may just be a girlfriend chat. Like, hey, I'm walking through this. Have you walked through this? Can you recommend anyone? Or you just really want to build some connection.
Yeah.
I think that it's important. We are new to Texas. I'm a Midwest girl.
Oh, okay.
And so when we first moved to Texas, I spent the first 2 years really honing in on building adult friendships. I've been very fortunate and blessed to have the same group of friends since middle school.
Wow.
And which is great, but
That's
it can
rare.
be very limiting.
Really?
Yes, because we're like all far apart. And so I really wanted to expand my friend group. And so I needed to put down roots here. And so I spent 2 years like really working on like hanging out with people. And that was very intentional. And I loved a coffee date. It just seems like less pressure.
Absolutely.
You don't have to pick a restaurant to make sure that everybody likes the food that's there or an activity that they like. And so you're either going to get coffee, hot chocolate, or tea at the coffee shop, and you can just have great conversation.
I love how easy it is for you to create relationships. But to that point, you can meet up with any of your clients or people that are wanting to know more. And you do offer Zoom as well, right?
I do offer virtual coffee dates, virtual coaching, all of it. They're both available.
Wow. So how do you incorporate mental health advocacy in your coaching practice?
So mental health advocacy is very important to me. And if I have a client that comes to me and they really need therapy versus coaching, I'm happy to walk alongside of their therapist to be able to help them in the back end. But I often will recommend, I think everybody should have a therapist. That 100%. Isn't anything personal. I just think that it's important. I think that we all have stuff we need to unpack. I think we all need the tools to be able to handle what life throws at you. And therapy doesn't have to be lifelong. It may be situational. But it's important to me for people to be able to have healthy mental health. And I talk about other things, like some people just are not interested in therapy. So there are other ways to keep your mental health safe. And I really want to make sure to offer that opportunity to them as well.
Wow. It's wonderful that you recognize, okay, this is more out of my realm than I want to handle, instead of offering bad advice. I think a lot of women get that. And this is really offering them a stepping stone to really get them to where they need to be, just like you explained what your business is, but you're doing authentically. And like I mentioned before, like a best friend holding your hand.
Yes.
And that really is important to women that have to put on the strong face, right? Yes. So what's coming up? What are your plans for the business? Where do you see it growing to? And we'll stop there and let you go ahead and give me that one, because I could ask 15 more questions.
For the business, I am growing a private Facebook community. I would love to be able to move that offline to like an in-person retreat or just bigger in-person events. I am going to be doing a workshop for GEW in November. That's the Global Entrepreneurs Week that comes up in North Texas. So I'm excited to do that. My husband would like for me to do one in person. I'm going to stick to virtual. I'm not ready.
But you know what? You showed up to the podcast in person.
Yes.
So we're getting there.
We're getting there.
We're taking steps.
There. Yes.
So tell me, the GEW, you said that it's coming up. When and where can they find that?
That will be in November, and I believe the week starts November 14th. But I will post something on my social media and on my website about that. And there will be an Eventbrite link to be able to attend those.
Okay, and your socials, where can they find you at Sign, and what platforms?
They can find me at Wildflower Lifestyle Coaching on Facebook.
Okay.
Instagram, I am the Wildflower Coach, and I'm the Wildflower Coach on TikTok as well.
Wonderful. So they can inquire to any of the social media outlets as well. And then your website, just one more time. I'll put it in the bottom of this too, but go ahead and tell our listeners.
My website is www.wildwellnesscoach.com.
Okay, wonderful. And is there anything else that you want your audience to know, or anyone that's still too afraid to come and maybe consult with you? What would you like them to know that you weren't told in the beginning?
I would like them to know that it's okay to not have it all together. It's okay to start afraid and to be curious about what's available to you. If your season of life does not look like what you want it to be, how can we work together to create what you want, to create the life that you desire? I think that it's important that part of your legacy is to be able to have a life that you can look back on and be proud of some spaces that were great.
Wow. Well, you're a wonderful, wonderful mentor to me, and I appreciate everything you're doing and for starting this business.
Thank you.
Thank you. If anyone wants to have your free consult, go ahead and go to her socials. You can reach out to me and I'll forward it to her, or go to Wildflower. Can you tell me the website?
The website is wildwellnesscoach.com.
Please go visit her. And until next time, we'll see you then.